Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rise Up Breathwork here at the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers. My name is Sandy, and I'm here today with Matt Thomson for your weekly installment of Sound Healing. And we do have a member in the house. We've had an amazing healing morning. We just left the sauna, Matt, and I'm here to let you know that if you go to pcsam.org and you become a member of our church for the bargain price of $25 a month, it does unlock the keys to the sauna experience. And Stan has let us know that he is going to be releasing a 20% off coupon for all sauna packages from now through the end of the year. So I highly recommend that you take advantage of this, whether for yourself or for your family. It's a really sweet date night spot. You get the room for 90 minutes. It has an amazing Cadillac of a massage chair in there, so you can get all relaxed in the chair before you get into the sauna while it's heating up. It's like really dynamite. And this week we have Anna coming in tomorrow at 1 p.m. for our slow flow yoga class, which we always look forward to, our midweek reset with our self-care doula herself. On Friday night, well, you know what, Matt? I think we actually don't have a plan for this Friday, and we've been debating whether or not we're going to have our group this Friday, just because of the holidays. Yeah. And we have such a big day on Saturday. Yeah, so on Saturday, we have Soul Saturday from 12 to 3 per usual, and we have DJ Stenny coming to the altar, and he was our original music director. Stenny really helped us to get this whole entire thing off the ground, tapped us into so many popular DJs in Boston who come and, you know, raise the vibration and spin these records for us for like pretty much no money. And I mean, these dudes like normally command like a pretty decent amount of money for their services. So we thank the DJs for coming in and donating basically their time. I basically give them a little bit just to cover gas and lunch. You know what I mean? So these guys come in and they, you know, they make us happy. I mean, you should see DJ Frantic just beaming every Soul Saturday. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break between 3 and 5 so people can go eat some, you know, food or whatever. And then from 5 to 10 is going to be our 5th annual Ugly Sweater Open Decks Holiday Party. So what does Open Decks mean? It means you can bring a couple of records and you can have a chance up at the altar and you can be the reverend and get your 5 minutes of fame. So bring some records. That's a big part of our ethos here, is sharing our love and passion for music. I, in fact, make music my religion. That's what PCSM is all about: energy, vibration, and frequency, and using that as the medicine of the future. So then, let's see, so we've got like this like double header going on Saturday. I personally wouldn't mind taking a break on this Friday night and kind of wrapping presents and making my lists and checking them twice. So so Matt, thank you for holding space this past Friday. I have to say, I had quite an experience with the activating breathwork. I hadn't done a super activating breathwork class in a long time. So it was pretty profound for me. So thank you for that. I slept like a baby that night.
That's good.
Yes.
And we will do the Wednesday night.
Oh, and Wednesdays, so since we're not doing Friday.
So we will have that this Friday. I'm sorry,
this Wednesday.
Tomorrow night.
Okay, perfect. Yes, thank you for reminding me.
So we'll do that tomorrow at 6:30.
Yep.
And because you missed the last time I did the breath work. And so it's been a while since you've done that.
Since I've been activating,
And so to start off today, I was thinking if maybe we could dive into, like, for you, like how you receive, like, for the people out there who've maybe never done like breath work, but they do a lot of this. And with this here on Tuesdays, like, I'm doing a guided meditation. Like, I'm putting up a storyline. I do that as well on Wednesdays. And for the most part, I keep it a relaxed breathing. I'm not activating the system. I sometimes maybe do for a couple minutes. And so for maybe the people out there who have not ever tried a breathwork piece where it's more activating to our system, I was wondering if maybe you could maybe help them understand maybe what that is, or maybe what it was for you and how it's a little bit different than, say, what we're doing here today.
Okay, so I can talk about that a little bit. So when I think of like breath work, there's basically a few things that you can do. You can either slow your breath down, right? You can speed it up, and you can hold it. You can actually stop it, right? And what that does is it affects your prana, or your life force energy. Qigong is just, I believe, breath work in Chinese, right? So when I did or do the more activating breath work, once we hit about the 8-minute mark, and now this is like really intentional circular breathing. So that's the other thing, is you can also control whether you're breathing like circularly, whether you're holding it. So, there's different patterns that you can do. And when I do the more activating breath work, I actually get into an altered state of consciousness, almost very similar to taking an entheogenic medicine. I have visions. I see colors. I'll see sometimes geometric patterns, light, white light, different colors. And then also physiologically, it can do different things. Sometimes I'll either get like the tingles, I'll sometimes get very warm. And then also I can sometimes cramp up a little bit. And I don't know if that has to do with maybe dehydration or other factors, but I know this last time I got what they call the lobster crawls, and I got very tense, but then I was able to kind of shake it out. So I obviously had something like stuck in me that needed to be like released, right. Or, you know what I mean? I had some stuff. So for me, that's kind of, it's a lot more physically stimulating, right. Versus when we do more of the just conscious, say 5 seconds right. in, 5 seconds out, like similar to when you're praying, right. Which just like does slow the heart rate down and helps calm the central nervous system. Whereas the activating breath, it actually kind of more stimulates me, yeah. And my brain and my nervous system a bit.
And so would you say that energetically it helps maybe to wake up or shift or like kind of bump a trapped, stuck energy a little bit? Is that a fair statement?
That is a very fair statement. Okay. Yeah.
And usually in the beginning, I usually like put a storyline together for the breathwork piece. But I also offer to people, like, if this doesn't sit with you, like to find whatever is prevalent or alive for you to go with what's alive for you. Mm-hmm. And would you say, like we were kind of working on the heart a little bit, were you able to, and because we were working on the heart, like in the beginning with the activating piece, I was kind of inviting people to find like what's blocking you from maybe really being more open from the heart space. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to go into like if you like specifics, but would you say that you found something that along those lines or another story, like you kind of knew what the energy blockage maybe was or discovered something a little bit different? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think that's part of the beautiful part too, is because when it's activating, it can really shift, and because we're like a little bit more altered, I think we can realize or maybe see sometimes like a clearer picture of what's going on, and it might be like, oh, and then that's an energy that can also be worked on later. Mm-hmm. And transformed. And we kind of transformed it at the end a little bit into the coherence between the heart and the mind. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that was just, I appreciate you just sharing that, because I think it was good for people to hear like, oh, well, what's the difference? And to actually hear it from you, who's going through it. Like I've gone through it too, yeah. But I'm also offering it. So it's good, I think, for the people to hear it like from someone like you that's not just
I think I also become more hypersensitive to the frequencies of music. My heart was more open to it, you know what I mean? I became it.
Yeah, the music's a huge part.
It is a huge, and you had a dynamite, Matt. Actually, I would love it if you would be willing to share that playlist, and maybe I can pop it in the newsletter.
Yeah, I can do that, absolutely. I'll share it with you after this.
That would be great. Yeah, no, because I felt so loving, like when I left here, I just felt like I just wanted to be around my people, my tribe, like express my gratitude, like really, it helped me, like, again, it's like kind of like not sweating the small stuff or getting hung up on, a lot of stuff. And the other thing that I think physically might have been happening to me is it was showing me that I'm spending too much time with my phone in my hand. And I'm literally, my hands are like too attached to that, the EMF frequency. Yeah, no, seriously. So that I had to shake that off. So for sure. So I do appreciate you, Matt. Yeah.
No, and I thank you. And if anyone out there is, like I'll be doing like another one here shortly. I don't think we've really gotten into the schedule for next year yet. No. Is that something we need to do?
We're going to have to work on that over the Christmas break, Matt. I'm smelling a trip to Maine so we can manifest.
And then I do have, so we're work on that.
And we also we're trying to also work on doing some more hybridized programming for you all. So like kind of bringing in being able to have people work with us from home, you know, whether
Yeah.
that's through Zoom. We're kind of exploring Twitch and Zoom and some other technologies.
Yeah, I talked to Jason about that today, actually.
Yeah, and so I think, like, you know, we want to be able to make sure that as the weather might not be cooperating and some of us might have a little bit of a more difficult time driving at night, even in the dark, that we can connect in a meaningful way using this technology, because that's what it's for.
Well,
That's what it can be used for.
important. I think that's something that we really do need to maybe open up. Because I can also do like activating breath work too, one-on-one. And then I think if we do go along the lines of like yeah, we're streaming this live, but if we do some like maybe tomorrow night, like the Wednesday night, start streaming that, and maybe even some of the other stuff on Friday nights.
Yeah, and something I think we should make people aware of, because a lot of times, like when you go to a class, there's like a hard start and a hard stop.
Yeah.
And so something we should mention about Wednesday night is that there does tend to be a little bit of a discussion after. So if you come in and you know you have a hard stop at 7:30, just let Matt know, because maybe he'll like have you be like dismissed before we get into the deep shares, because if you really do have to get home to put your kids to bed or something, but often we really don't get out of here till about 8 o'clock. So just kind of plan for maybe that 30 minutes of like, if you need it, you know, like the little bit of support circle that goes on after. It's not like a yoga class where usually people just run out as soon as it's over, right?
No.
So just be aware of that.
I do end it before 7:30 to start that. But like you said, it usually goes on a little bit longer.
I just want to you know, offer that to let people know that if you have a boundary and you do have to leave at 7:30, just let Matt know, and then he'll like let you leave in that, because it's kind of a sacred circle, and I always feel bad like leaving in the middle if not everybody has had a chance to speak. But like sometimes I have to go. Like sometimes I have places to be and things to do. You know. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
You're busy?
It's a thing, Matt. It's a thing. It's a thing. Busy mom over here. But no, I'm very grateful to be busy. It keeps me out of trouble for the most part. Okay.
I'm going to grab a sip of something. I can't remember I put anything to it.
It's right here, Matt.
Yeah, I see it. So just invite everyone just to get comfortable for a moment. So just settling into your space, whether you be laying down, sitting. Taking notice of the contact points of your body with the surface.
What is that tone?
It's a binaural beat. And just like breathing in the sound. This is a 7 hertz binaural beat that you're hearing on top of a vacuum cleaner. But really, you know, like all sound is a meditative sound. And it's very common for us to think that like birds or leaves in the wind or sounds of nature, like that's an easy one. But sometimes, even if we are struggling to quiet the mind, like any sound can really be meditative. Even if it's a vacuum cleaner, if you can hear that, or cars. Even I think when we did the podcast out in Brooklyn, we had a construction site right next to us. And so when it comes to that, it's about not defining what the sound is, but just sinking into sound itself, including my voice. It's just a sound. And just hear it and kind of breathe it in. And maybe just allowing, this is such a busy time for a lot of people. Honoring a moment just to relax. breathing in the sound into the physical aspects of who you are, of your body, and maybe just allowing for the sound to create like a soothing, an ocean of waves going maybe from the toes all the way up to the mind itself. Just imagining a ripple of waves traveling up the body, bringing in that sense of balance. Just checking in on your system, like with the mind for a moment, just tapping into like how are you feeling now in this moment versus maybe how you felt at the beginning. Taking a moment to honor that. Just maybe falling into a deeper state of relaxation. Maybe allowing for the mind to stay focused and aware. So we can allow for the physical body to be at rest or like in a sleep state, while at the same time we can be consciously aware maybe a bit more expansive through the mind, maybe not so trapped by language or words or situations. And so with, next week being probably a little bit more busy, maybe even in some ways they can be a little bit more activating for us when we get maybe frustrated or feelings from the past come up. Sometimes a lot can come up with family and friends or people visiting or staying at your house. And just like life changes briefly. So just a gentle reminder that when we pause and breathe, that we can take notice of where something feels in our body. So let's just say it's stressful to have a couple of house guests. So you can even breathe into that now, or something else if that's true for you, or whatever is like a reality for you. And then just to recognize, like, where do you actually feel that in the body? So you can bring up the moments of having someone in the house and what parts of that create stress for you. So you can bring that up in the mind for a moment. And then after you kind of get the system, you're going to feel a change in your physical body within your energy, maybe bringing you out of the relaxed state that you may be in now. And then just to take notice of where is it in the body. Is it this one location like the heart or stomach? Or are you feeling it in like 2 or 3 locations, like the eyes maybe squint shut, or the jawline gets where we clench our teeth, or maybe a sick feeling in the stomach. And so when we take a pause with our breath, and we can begin to feel where we're activated in the body itself, we can breathe on the inhale, breathe into the space where we feel it, and actually just honor it and feel it for a moment with the in-breath. You can even gently hold your breath at the end of it and just feel it, like honor it, like, okay, this is not how I want to feel. And then just imagining that tight ball being unraveled as you exhale, and then extend your exhale out longer to help relax and calm the system down. Just enjoy the silence and let all that go and tap back into your breath. I was having a conversation a little while ago with someone, and you hear me often talk about practicing the pause and the breathing and the feeling with smaller things in our life, like driving, being in a supermarket or the mall or a store, maybe having to deal with being in a long line to get out. maybe just being around some people who are just looking sad or angry, and we take on that lower vibrational energy. But if we practice breathing and beginning to recognize where we may feel something and allowing ourselves to feel it and soften it at the same time, the more we invite that into our day, then when something larger comes knocking on the door, we're more apt to maybe remember that, oh, let's just take a pause here before I overreact. You know, for myself, I had incredible anger in the way I spoke to people, the way I reacted, the way I yelled. And so that was just like a trigger, something happened, and then I erupted like the largest volcano on this planet, like within an instant. And so the trick here is this: if we can practice this stuff and start to recognize how something rises up and changes how our energy is in our system. So maybe you're in a little bit of a rush and you're in the store, and then there's that long line. So if you take a pause and really recognize like where that energy is rising up from, and feel that rising energy, because then it's going to make us, what might be a reaction to that in a long line, what might make us more antsy. Maybe we start just speaking negatively. Maybe we'll start to tapping or hitting like the grocery cart, or kind of moving our foot, or maybe like tapping the foot. Like there's a whole bunch of things that take us out of that state of balance, and it's our body moving along with that lower vibration. And maybe it's even trying to help. Sometimes I think we do it because movement also serves a purpose in helping to move the energy. So what are we consciously doing? Am I moving or doing the tapping because I'm just really frustrated? But the secret behind it is like to actually maybe let the tension go through with the breath instead of continuously tapping for 5 minutes. Also, the more we begin to feel the rising of energy, the change in the energy in our system, because this is a part of getting to know oneself, understanding who we are energetically. And so maybe the more we bring this in and make it a part of who we are, what if that was able to gift you with a big trigger where maybe we really become upset or we take action in some way that's much larger than just a frustrated tapping at a long line. And so if we can start to feel that rise before the big eruption, maybe we can cut it off. Maybe we can give ourselves and use a tool of like, I need to actually excuse myself from this room for a minute before I lose it, or say something that's going to be hurtful, and just like go outside, get a breath of fresh air, go to the bathroom, go get a drink of water, whatever, take the dog out, but just to like catch that rising sensation within us and beginning to learn how to feel. Because feeling, it doesn't have to be so scary. It's just feeling. We use substances and things so that we don't have to feel. I was working with someone yesterday and we were talking about this in the sense of like not being truthful. And the person was describing like how scary it is just to be upfront and honest. Fearful of the consequences. In the end, if we make a choice to step into the fear and do what scares us, then the consequences may not be as bad as what we thought, and we actually save ourselves from a landslide of stuff happening. Maybe the person's reaction is very different when we just confront them and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, okay. And it's not really, it turns out to be not even a big deal at all. But if we run, we hide, avoid having to step into what is fearful, then at times we make things worse by doing that. So doing what is scary, my rock climbing partner brought this up in me too last week, and she kind of looked at me and she's like, we need to practice our falling. And I'm like, oh God, I hate falling. I do everything I can to not fall when I climb. But she's right. Like, I need to actually practice falling on rope and taking like 10 or 15 foot falls in the gym when you're like 40 feet off the ground. I need to practice more. She doesn't boulder, but I do. I need to actually even practice falling from 15 feet up down to the ground and rolling out. And that just scares me. Like, I just don't like to fall. But she's right. We both need to practice it, and I actually really need to practice it. So I need to step into that fear and that'll be starting this week. So, but fear in a situation like that, and in life in general, it creates like a pause, not a positive one. Like it creates like this. What am I trying to say? Like a hesitation. And so for me, and some of the stuff that I do, particularly more so with outdoor climbing, that could have an effect that is not good for me. And even the hesitation in life can also, like that hesitation through not going through the fear, can have many different effects on us. So, just to bring in as we enter into this holiday season, just maybe practicing with the smaller things so that maybe when the bigger things arise, it's maybe a little bit easier for you. I hope this falls in line with people today. I invite you to gently, just slowly start bringing yourself back, moving your fingers, your toes. If you want more of this, we'll be around tomorrow evening at 6:30. And I hope that falls in alignment. Always feel free to reach out if you have any questions or just need to talk. Like, someone else was going through something last night and they were like, I thought about calling you. And I was like, well, why didn't you? And like, maybe it would have helped. Like sometimes someone who can just be an ear and just hear you is sometimes all we also need. So don't hesitate to reach out. To someone who can actually just hear you. I'm open to it even if I've never met you. So just gently bring yourself back into your space, your safety. And I think also, like, to end this today, like, I think a lot of times we talk about just being a little bit more caring or loving towards people or strangers, which is true. Like that's always a good thing, not just this time of year, but also just a reminder to like be that way for self as well too. And because a lot of times we think about like giving a lot during this time of year, and but I think a lot of times we also forget to give to ourselves too. Right?
Open to receive.
And open to receiving. That's a whole nother story, isn't it? Like receiving is, I struggle with receiving for sure. Like I still struggle with that. Like when people show me kindness or something, like it's not easy for me. It's not easy for me to ask for help or to receive it. But I've been working on that. So, yeah.
We all need to get by with a little help from our friends.
Exactly.
Thank you. I got some really amazing tingles when you do the gong, like that tone. I love the binaural beats. Binaural beats. For some reason, it was.
Oh, you don't like it too much.
It can be a little abrasive. Like it's like the tone of it. It's a little tough for me sometimes. But I mean, I know it's supposed to be good for my brain. But I just something about like the frequency of the gong just really got me today. Like I love the tingles.
Yeah.
I'm a tingle chaser. So thank you for that. I never want that feeling to end. I never want that.
Tingle chaser.
Well, it's like kind of like there's been memes going around the internet about like triggers and to start to pay attention to the glimmers instead of the triggers. So I've been trying to do that. Yeah, like a glimmer moment, right, instead of a trigger moment. So I've had a lot of those moments. Again, trying to flip the script on like Christmas shopping. Like I don't enjoy shopping. You know what I mean? It's not a thing I do. But I offered to take out a friend's children the other day because she just had a baby, and like I actually found joy in watching them pick out presents for their parents, and I was like, oh my God, I'm having a glimmer moment shopping.
Oh, that's kinda
I
cool.
can't even believe this. But yeah, it was really sweet, to see, what a 6-7-year-old would pick out for their parents with their own money, and like the thought and like the sentiment, you know what I mean? And just like out of the mouths of babes. And so just trying to make some of the mundane things a little more glimmery is what my intention is for the rest of the season. So
That's a good one. I like
thanks, Matt. Deep thoughts with Sandy Berry.
It only happens every once in a while. So
Yeah,
take
every now and
advantage of it.
then I'm a
Other
little
than that,
less.
it's just poof.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a brain explosion. But yeah, no, thank you, Matt. And again, if anybody is looking for a charity to donate to because you're just going to owe taxes to the IRS at the end of the year, pcsam.org, we do have a PayPal link handy and convenient for you. If you're feeling charitable this season, because I guess, I have to ask for help sometimes also, because it does take resources to keep the lights on, the toilet paper, and actually, speaking of that, we need to stock the soda machine. I know lots of people have been asking how they can volunteer, and getting water for us is a great offer, and Matt does that a lot. And then if anybody ever wants to volunteer to pick up sodas for the soda machine, you would be my favorite person, because I don't drink soda, but we like to have it in there for people who come by. So
That's great. Especially like on Saturday, it might be a busy one.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a busy one. So so thanks everybody again who participated in the fun drive. That's over, but guess what? We're going to do it again. Because I've had so many people reach out and say that they meant to bring stuff and didn't. So you know what? We're going to go balls to the wall. We're going to do it again. And if you are looking for help with your fundraiser, we do have the Bliss Bus available, of course, for a donation. We'll come out and help raise the vibration, whether that's transporting people, transporting donation items, or just coming to have a good time and bring some music and good vibes. So keep us in mind for all of that. Okay? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope this helps some of you.
What we do next? Do you want to do Christmas Eve or next Tuesday?
So on Christmas Eve, that is a very good question, Matt. I would like for you to do the show. I'm not sure if I'll be here because my kids are off from school, and I might be. I'm gonna actually make an effort to come, and maybe I'll even bring the kiddos with me.
Okay.
Haha.
Yeah. So we'll do the show next week.
Forced family fun for the holidays. Yay!
Matt will torture you.
You will lay down and you will like it. Okay. Thanks, Matt.
Well, if your kids, I don't think it's a big deal.
Right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.